Okay, this man's name is Zecharia Sitchin, and he's an expert on Sumerian history. He has worked on the 6,000-year-old Sumerian language and deciphered their writing. And I'm going to let you, if you don't know who he is, maybe you do, but if you don't, I'm going to let you hear a little bit about what he says, and then we'll talk a little more.
I believe that the answer to most of our questions about extraterrestrial visitors lies in the ancient records of the Sumerians. The Sumerian civilization emerged in what is now Iraq about 6,000 years ago. They provided the basis for every great culture that followed them, starting with the Babylonians and Assyrians and on, up to our own modern society. Every aspect of civilization that we consider essential had its first in Sumer. Writing and mathematics, the wheel, the kiln, brick-making, high-rise buildings, kingship, codes of law, astronomy, and much, much more. Many cultures struggled for centuries to advance and to develop. But the Sumerian civilization appeared almost overnight as if planted there.
The Sumerians had detailed knowledge of the solar system thousands of years before modern astronomy. How could they have known?
Most amazing was the Sumerian knowledge of astronomy. They knew of all the planets we know of today, described them in text, and even depicted them correctly by location and size. The astronomer Copernicus is often said to be the first to prove that the planets orbited around the sun, and that Earth was one of those planets. That was in 1543. But the Sumerians said the same thing 5,500 years earlier. Even more amazing, they described Uranus and Neptune as blue-green twins. Modern science was unable to closely observe these planets until 1986 with the flyby mission of the Voyager probe that found them to be blue-green twins exactly as the Sumerians had described them thousands of years earlier.
Was this a fortunate choice?
Okay. You just heard it. The Sumerians somehow had all this knowledge back then. Now they had no telescope, no nothing, but yet they were able to know things about the solar system and the planets and the stars, everything. And you know, we only verified what they said about the blue planet in like '86 with our telescopes and all our knowledge. So somehow they were taught that by somebody else that knew more than they did by far. So this ties into, this is what he's talking about, is Nibiru, the planet. And Nibiru is important, I believe, because it, in this Sumerian text, says they actually came to the planet, whoever was on it, stopped by and said hello and did all these things. So coming here in a large object can cause a lot of stuff to happen, catastrophes. And that was how I began my series of videos, is talking to people and warning them. But I'm trying to show you how everything all ties in. These things don't happen by chance, you know. And we're having actual records here, archaeological records, that show by what was written that this is what it said. Were these guys good? Were these guys bad? that remains to be seen. But I got a feeling they're on the negative side of the coin, if you know what I mean. So their planet or ship, whatever it is, it's big enough to disrupt the orbits of planets, because they're already feeling it. NASA's already knows that, you know, the planets other than Earth are already being affected, and that's why they began looking, is to say, what is affecting them? You know, what's making them do this? And then that's where they come up with what was in my other video about the gigantic planet they said they found and have named Tyche. So NASA is tying their self right into the Sumerian text. Okay? So 6,000 years is a long time. You know, none of us will be around. So that was way back when, and we're 6,000 years later. We're seeing all these near-miss objects. Like here not long ago, the last one that was a near-miss here, you know, what did NASA say? They said, well, we didn't see it coming, but, you know, we caught on and we saw it, you know, after it already almost hit us but didn't. So if they can see it leaving, then it should be obvious to you and me that they can see it coming. So if they never said they saw it coming, but they saw it leaving, we got a problem. Either somebody is incompetent, or they just, you know, flipped us the bird and gave us a BS excuse. So if they saw it coming, why didn't they tell us? Huh, let's think about that. Well, maybe they thought it would hit us. And can you imagine all the hell that everything would break out if they emergency broadcast and come on the TV and said, prepare for doomsday, we're getting ready to get impacted by a, you know, shit, I don't know, a 2-mile square piece of rock flying 50,000 miles an hour or something. They're not going to do that. You know, they wouldn't do that. I mean, just use some logic and common sense. The presidents and all them important people that run whole countries, you know, or continents, if they have that much stroke to influence the whole continent, they're going to be somewhere. You can bet your bottom dollar they've made an arrangement. And we're going to be somewhere too, but we're going to be on our own to be wherever our somewhere turns out to be. And that's how it's starting to play out. I mean, if you got a flying object coming at the world and they said they didn't see it, with all the stuff that they've got, we got a problem. And then we go back into my other video and we see they've been buying excuse me, let me correctly phrase that, soliciting for all the merchandise I showed you. And anybody knows that usually when you solicitate pricing for items that you're looking to buy. I mean, you buy a car, you're going around shopping for a deal, you want to buy a car, but you're shopping around to see, can I get what I want for what I want to give, or, you know, if I can't get it for what I want to give, what will it cost? And that's looked to me like what they're doing. And so they're not going to tell you if they bought all that junk, you know, because how many people do they think go to the site I showed you and get in there and look and see what they solicitate? They know you're not doing it. That's why they can do it right under your nose, because they know you're not watching them, and they know there's just a few people that are looking around in there, and it's not easy. There's so much stuff in there that you know it takes time, and So that's what I'm trying to tie all this stuff in. There's so much of it that I don't know if I'll be able to get all of it out there. You know, I have to just keep making videos for everyone and explaining things. But nothing happens up there by chance. You know, it's all, you know, even if you don't want to be religious, I'm not trying to run you off if you're not. I'd rather try to attract you into, you know, like I said before, opening your mind to maybe, you know, maybe thinking about it. But it's some form of intelligent design, you know. I'll call it that, so you can, you know, maybe you can agree with me on that. It's something intelligent that directs all things for what unknown reasons we have to try and figure out and deal with the best that we can. So we know how the story ends. We already know that. We're just trying to get ourselves in a time frame, a window. Like I said, we're not gonna be able to pinpoint it, the exact day, or maybe even week. You know, I'd like to be able to get pretty close, but maybe we won't be able to. But we know the general area. The Hopis, you know, their prophecy. We've got Revelation, you know. We've got the Mayan calendar. We've got so much. And no matter what, it all ties to the same place. Something happens bad to everyone. And it's either a cleansing, a purification, or a punishment or something, but it's something that a lot of people will be injured and suffer, and a lot of people will lose their lives, properties, everything. You know, everything will be rearranged in such a way that it never was before that we've seen. It's just mind-boggling. I mean, because when you actually begin to see these things, read and understand, and begin to tie everything together, then when you're out in the world, you know, every day, or you hear some things in your newspaper or an event somewhere in the world, you're more able to see it at a different angle than other people that don't really pay attention or care about these subjects and haven't got the knowledge that you've acquired because of your hard work and determination and your willingness to try to get all this together and understand it. You just be able to see things more clearly. You know, I don't understand how, really, to be honest, how I'm able to see it more clearly. I have a little, you know, difficulty explaining it to people, but I'm trying as best as I can to tie it in for you. And this video is about out, so I'm probably going to have to end it. I'll continue the same thing, and maybe we'll talk about something different, but Nibiru still has to be in the mix of things. So y'all be safe, and God bless you.